biggest event in entertainment.
WrestleMania!
Roman Reigns challenges Triple H for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Dean Ambrose battles Brock Lesnar, and Shane McMahon returns to face The Undertaker. Don't miss WrestleMania, Sunday, April 3rd. Special start time 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, live on WWE Network. New subscribers get your first month free. Go to WWENetwork.com and sign up today. What are you waiting for?
Okay, listen up. This is big. It's spring break at Six Flags. A big party with big thrills, like the new Pacific Rim 5D in the iWorks Theater, and Medusa, the Big Daddy. Want to be a big shot? Buy a 4-pack of passes, get a free parking pass, plus free tickets on select days. Less than $6 each per month at SixFlags.com. Now that's a big deal. Don't miss spring break, March 19th through April 3rd. Go big. Go Six Flags Discovery Kingdom.
Introducing KFC's Nashville Hot Chicken. A delicious new spicy, smoky, and crispy fried chicken. Can you have all three? Yes, sir. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Limited time offer at participating KFCs.
Hello, hello, hello!
Yellow. Hello?
Hello, everybody! What is up, guys? Oh, just a little bit. How's it going, guys? Josh the Tiger Reaper here.
And Josh, Mr. Beat the Panda.
And welcome to Games, Geeks, and Gravity, episode number 8. Welcome to the podcast. Today is March 16th of 2016. We've got a lot. Okay, we got a decent amount of stuff to talk about tonight. We were supposed to be having Neon as a part of our cast, because he's part of our grouping. But he's MIA, so I don't know where he's at. It's kind of weird.
Yep.
So for filler, we have Scott, Nega Scott, and the bass player down there. And we have Totoro over there, and Pikachu, so they're our fillers for the evening.
Yep. Totoro has a lot to say, especially on our topics tonight.
I mean, look at that giant smile.
Yeah, he's excited.
Yeah. I know, Rip Neon. He's always missing in action. I don't know where he's at. We'll see if he comes in the middle of it. It's fine. It's fine. We were just talking to him about it a while back, but without further ado,
You do.
started.
I know, do you do.
Need like a fader for audio. Cool. All right. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. We're having a wonderful. Right? Yeah, it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Do you have any finals left?
I told you, man. All on on Thursday.
All on Thursday?
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Oh, I got one tomorrow. That's it. I like
Well,
two.
it's all on Thursday. Let's just go with that. So, I think I told you about it before.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, so I had to just say, yeah, you gotta do that. But so like always, every time we shut the show, same thing, you know. We're here at Games, Geeks, and Gravity. We talk about games, geeky stuff, and Gravity because we live in it.
Unfortunately.
It's a weird shtick, but it shticks real good. I'd show myself.
Is someone playing the UFC 2?
No, he's playing NBA 2K13.
Oh, an NBA. Okay.
16.
It looked like somebody throwing a punch, and I'm like, oh, is that game good?
Yeah, the new UFC. That game is kind of weird. Like,
I was watching Lyric play it, and he made the most disgusting looking character.
Dude,
it was horrible.
I remember watching this one video. We'll pull it up for chat. I'll actually showcase. It's a pretty funny video, and it's about like two guys making up, like two guys posing as Joe Rogan and I forgot the other caster's name. For UFC, hold on, see best see. I watched it and oh here I think. Okay, so just before we actually like really get started to the show, we're gonna show this video first. Hold on. Guys, I hate that I have to fucking capture it every.
Capture like
The window for.
window. Grid.
I think it's just because I don't know. This video is hilarious. And the first time I saw it, I was in the car. We were driving to where were we driving? We were driving to like a restaurant or something, and I don't know why. I started like cracking up in the back, like, "What are you watching?" And then I had to show my brother and my brother-in-law. It was fucking. We don't have gravity in Canada. That sucks. All right, so.
I mean, it could be cool.
I have gravity. Ah!
It's finally time.
What happened?
This video is hilarious.
Of course, Neon would have a quote.
John Jones, and it is all over.
Cool. I don't say anything
Now,
quotable
Joe,
though.
what technique is Junior Dos Santos utilizing here? Like he's pretending to be a turtle that can't flip over. He's trying to confuse Frank Mir. Frank looks very confused.
On.
Look for him to go for a takedown using only his
This
feet.
looks weird. I'm
and
like
he got
looking
it.
the wrong way in our.
Yeah.
He just pulled a mummy guard. Now he's trying to lure Alex in by casting a spell. He's showing incredible flexibility in his bones, Joe.
The commentary's the best
This
too.
kid is such a gifted athlete.
So I guess the
Joe,
game
what
isn't
are the
good.
benefits of
It's good, it's just it has
freezing
these
your body
glitches.
during a fight with yourself. Well, one of the advantages is that your opponent is completely confused. He's unsure if you're a real person anymore, or just some sort of object falling into the cage. And it is great for takedowns, as you can see. We're undefeated too now. And the Iceman is back on his feet. This crowd is going crazy, Joe. Ow! Eve Levine with the psychic knockout. Jones with a capoeira kick, and Gustafson responds with a merry-go-round. Incredible strength, Mike, and a total disregard for the laws of physics.
Holy
Aldo with the big spin takedown. He's been landing those effectively all night, Joe.
Holy shit.
Gustafson is so elusive, Joe. We knew going into the rematch that Gustafson flipping through the air was going to give John Jones problems. He didn't want to admit it. They gave him fits in the first fight.
Holy shit.
And here he is again. He's getting flipped all over, Mike. Carmouche with a nice 70-foot sliding takedown. Oh, she's out, Joe. She's out, and Liz Carmouche doesn't realize it. Carmouche is going to town on the air. Those are nasty shots. Ronda taking a moment to catch her breath. Eve Levine looking intensely at the action. Carmouche is going to tire herself out, Mike. Ronda needs to be careful not to hit her in the back of the head. Right into a butt back mount. And Gustafson really has no answer for his mummy
Oh
ball.
shit, my stomach hurts so bad right now.
Jones with a huge no-hands takedown, and let the focus on John's face.
Oh my goodness.
Incredible use of sorcery here on the ground. He is the Michael Jordan of magic. Big kick by Jones. Alex goes for a leg, gets a hold of a ghost that's been haunting the arena, and huge takedown. Gustafson shoots, and now he's showing off his sweet dance moves. I don't agree with that stand-up at all. At all. Yves Levine with a big win again, Joe!
Holy shit. But oh my god, that game. For as much glitches as it has, it is extremely, extremely funny. Like, I kind of want to buy it for the sole reason of just, like, having that shit happen. So I can, like, see it live. Like, oh, this is so funny. The commentary is great, too. Oh my god, but that was too funny. But yeah, like, the game is not that bad. I played it before. The mechanics are pretty smooth. Feels very realistic. And so, I mean, it's got good ratings. I think they have another one coming out too.
Yep. I don't know. Not into fighting games. It looks really good.
I remember I played a lot of
But then there's that UFC 2 curse, or the EA cover curse.
Oh yeah. If you're on EA's
Where-
cover at all, you
Yeah.
get
They
injured for
both
like
lost.
like there's like season ending or career ending curses on some of those. Like I think there's one of them Madden.
I don't remember Madden.
I know Michael Vick, like it wasn't he didn't like get injured, but kind of stuff like that happened to him. So
Yeah.
similar idea. But yeah, like I remember when I was a kid, I played a lot of you remember Fight Night?
Yes.
Yeah, I played a lot of EA Fight Night. I played a shit ton of that. And I remember playing as Roy Jones Jr. And then always like after playing that game, would always like run around the house like pretend like I was boxing and shit. It's fun.
No, dude. Anytime you watch like a Rocky movie, you feel like that's all you have to do that when you go run. You know,
Yeah.
you go for a jog, you just gotta throw some like air punches. Like you know what you're doing.
I mean, I've boxed a little bit before, but not enough to the point where like I know exactly what I'm. It's funny how that works, like how your mind just kind of like gets affected by that stuff.
Yeah, we see it and we think we know. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
like,
I know
oh,
how to
I
do
can
that. I've
do
seen
that.
it like a
You
few times
know.
in a movie.
Couple jabs here and there. Okay, cool, good enough.
Speaking of good boxing movies, have you seen Southpaw?
No, I haven't seen Southpaw.
That's actually a really good movie. I was surprised with how good it was.
I haven't seen Southpaw. I haven't seen Fighter.
The one with Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
No, it's Warrior.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen The Warrior. I haven't seen Creed. So
I haven't seen Creed. I want to see Creed.
yeah. Oh shit, it's Neon. Power's been out all day. Oh shit.
Oh,
Damn, son.
fun.
Is your power on now, dude? Luckily, we didn't actually start the show. Like, I mean, you're kind of here. Now we wait for his response. We're like, I haven't seen Fight. I haven't seen Fight Club.
You haven't
Because-
seen Fight Club either?
I've
Jeez,
seen
we
I've
gotta-
seen
we gotta
I've seen
have,
parts
like-
of it. We'll have a night. I've seen parts of it
No,
though.
alright, never mind.
What?
I almost asked a really stupid question. Do you know the plot of the movie? Like, you know this like important thing that happened? That was like if you had never seen Star Wars and be like, oh yeah, you know Vader's Luke's father, right?
Oh shit.
Like what? No, I didn't get that far.
Let me
I
see my
stopped at number 2.
Cause I might. I'll set it for like next
Yeah.
week.
I can see that. I don't know. Southpaw, I don't know. I really liked how it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't so much about the fighting.
Yeah, I was like, why are we both wearing wife beaters? I don't know. Cause
Yo,
I love this shirt.
It's
this-
not a wife beater too.
this-
Mine,
This tank top's amazing. I got mine from Into the AM. Use little affiliation.
I realize now that you guys see just this part, and that looks like a wife beater.
Yeah, I'm wearing a tank top.
Vans.
Austin Wows, what is up, man? Welcome to the show. So I think hopefully Neon is making his way downtown, walking fast, pacing fast and homebound. Hopefully he's here. Austin, thank you for hitting that follow button, man. Welcome to Scully's. I'd have the notifications up, but that's my channel, not for the show. But either way, so like again, at the beginning of the show, we always take some time to recap what we've been doing for the week. Both of us being variety streamers, we've done a number of things. So, gosh, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing off stream a lot of the Division with you guys. Some Counter-Strike with both you and with another streamer, that Christian streamer. I've been playing with him, not as much, but a little bit. But I was sick over the weekend, and like midweek towards the weekend, so I was via from all things Twitch, at least on my end. So that sucked. Today I started up Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 again.
Oh, the second one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you beat the first one, huh?
And I'm still on like the intro. I'm not on like the intro area anymore. I'm on like the first planet. So.
I remember when I played the first planet, I'd always, after I'd finished that level, I'd always get lost. I'd get lost every time. I'd be like, wait, am I supposed to go?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because playing this character is like completely different than my last one. My last one was like, all right, I'm kind of good until you hit like the twist.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, all right, full evil, do everything evil. And then this one, he's like the opposite. He's kind of like, yeah, but then he's gonna slowly ramp to being pretty much fully good.
Oh, that's good.
Because it's the first playthrough of the game. I've never actually played the game.
Yeah, see, I've never beaten it either, point. And like I wanna set it aside for, I think on my channel, segments for like throwback Thursdays, like
cool.
Like just throwback, like just retro games. Like I have installed Knights of the Old Republic 2. I have Republic Commando installed. Like, that would be fun. That would be hella fun to play.
I wanted a sequel so bad.
Man.
I was that game, man.
I was so sad when they were like, nah, we're not making it. And I was like, why? That game was so good. That was like my child.
If we played it now, it probably, like, the game-wise probably wouldn't be that good just because it was all, like, so immersed in the universe of the game. Gameplay probably sucked. We just didn't realize it.
I don't know. I mean, I think I played it again one time, and I was like, man, I still love this game.
Oh, no, I would still love it. But...
I mean, we're spoiled by all these other stuff now.
Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely spoiled. Nowadays with, like, games like Division and stuff like that. Even, like, Rainbow Six. I haven't played in forever, and I want to, but I tried, and then I immediately got destroyed, so I gave up.
Yeah.
I went to CSGO.
Nice. Anything else you've been playing? Anything else going on your channel?
No, I might continue streaming later tonight, not with Star Wars. I do that in the morning, but if I stream anything later tonight, it's probably like PS or something.
For sure. Cool.
Zelda!
Funny thing is, so what I've been doing, let's see, what have I been doing since our last podcast? There's a lot of H1, actually. A lot of H1, some CS, a little bit of League, a lot of the Division. That game is fucking phenomenal.
I need to catch up. I got distracted collecting cell phones and files and echoes.
Buddy joined your channel.
That game was amazing. What up, Neon?
Hey.
That game was fucking awesome. Hey, Carla. Playing a lot of Division, H1, League, CS, and I've been dabbling a little bit in Overwatch because ever since the Division came out, I've been putting a lot of time into that. So that's mainly where my time's been devoted to. But this coming week we have. I keep pulling up my phone, thinking my schedule's on there. Channel, and I'm like, damn, I'm a bad streamer. This week.
So you keep a schedule.
I've been getting better at that. So I'll tell you in a second. This week, tomorrow, I'm doing League, CS:GO, and Rainbow Six. Saturday, we're doing just Witcher 3. I'm trying to like get a bit more acclimated with having a system here. But so funny thing is, so I decided this. When was it? When did I decide it? think it was like I decided on like that Friday last week. I was like, okay, I have my schedule for this coming week. I'm gonna write out what I'm gonna do. So I figured it out, and I started writing out all of my I started writing out all of my like my gaming schedules and what segments I wanted to run. That way I kind of like stick to it because I get distracted with games. So like I'll play, you know, excuse me, like
Oh yeah, no, game ADD is so real.
I got distracted. Like I played The Division yesterday. I played H1 and then I played H1 for like 4 hours. Then I switched over to like CS because I said I was gonna play XCOM and I didn't play it anymore. I ended up playing League instead, or no, The Division again. So I was like, you know, that's why I decided to set up a schedule instead. So that way it's a little bit easier for me to be like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do this, 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 and this. Here's what day is happening, like what day it's happening on. So, but yeah, I'm trying to get a little better at that. Just because then it's like I know if I want to play like an older game, I can stick to it and just be like, all right, this is what we're doing all day. Hang out, you can. So it works out for the better.
Yeah, mine is just like I have the days I stream, and I try to stick the whole like morning stream. I play Star Wars, and then later in the day I play whatever like multiplayer game.
Yeah, and I gotta start doing.
But it gets hard because if I don't wake up early enough to like warrant a break in between, I just kind of stream one game for long and then don't do the other one. So
yeah, that happens quite a bit. Neon, how are you, my good sir? What happened, bro?
What happened? Power went out for like 8 hours.
Shit.
Feels bad, man.
Sucks.
That blows, dude.
Yeah. I've literally just been playing Pokemon for 8 hours straight.
And how's that been?
Nothing else to do. Fuck Pokemon, okay? My goddamn Pikachu died like 20 times because I don't know how to play the game anymore. So.
What's like the hardcore mode where it's like if a Pokemon faints, you have to like get rid of it?
Yeah.
Wait, what the hell? I didn't even know that
I tried
existed.
That once. Well, no, it's not like an actual game mode. It's just like a rule set you follow when playing the game. Where it's like you have to catch like the first Pokemon in each thing, and that's it. Like the first Pokemon you encounter. If a Pokemon faints, you have to get rid of it, kind of thing, to make it hard.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like
no.
The Gary Oak of being a bastard in Pokemon. Oh, you suck, Pokemon. You fainted. I'm gonna get rid of you.
Yep. Nuzlocke. That's it.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
I was like, it's Nug something. Nug.
Nug. Where have I heard that? I think I heard that from somewhere.
What was that from?
I think I heard it from like a show or something.
Dragon Age and Nug is like a pig thing.
That could be it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you here, Neon. Sorry if I blew up your phone and shit.
We sent one message.
What? Oh, I sent you. Oh, I texted you. I called you, and I tweeted you, and then I Skyped you. So technically, I messaged you four times.
Oh shit! Okay.
Oh man. So on today's topics, it's actually pretty light today on topics, but it's gonna be a pretty lengthy thing we can talk about. Pretty much our main topic of the night, I would say, for competitive gaming. Ergo spots. Shit. Ignore the text at the bottom. So like esports. So, our good friend at Neon, he had come up with this, and so it's something that's been talked about quite a bit amongst the community. How serious should games be taken, and and at what moment consider a game being fully competitive? At what moment do you feel like a game? At what moment do you feel like you should start taking a game seriously in a competitive manner? So something like that. Where we're headed. So the floor is yours, gentlemen. Who would like to start? Who would like to say?
I guess the first thing we should talk on is like what makes a game like a competitive game, and then what makes it different than being competitive at the game and then like professional.
Okay.
Because like there's games where you can be competitive at, but maybe there's not really a pro scene to it.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Leon.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for a game to be competitive, at least in my mindset, is that you have to have a ranking system, multiplayer. That's about it. Like you gotta climb ranks. You gotta eventually achieve a goal of reaching like the highest rank, and yeah, that's about it. I mean, but then yeah, you do have to, and then professional is a completely different thing. Like you actually have to have a passion for the game. There has to be a pro scene for the game. You have to work towards it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even like your drive. There has to be enough like of people like that in order to make an entire scene. Like
Yeah.
think if like League of Legends, it's huge. The competitive scene for that's huge, and the pro scene for that is huge. But if say for whatever reason only like a team were to be put together and take it that seriously, it couldn't possibly succeed no matter how competitive people get. And then you have to have a game that gets big enough coverage that corporates will back it for a pro scene.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it depends, cause like, I think the main games that come to mind for me are, well, there's actually a lot that comes to mind. You got like League, you've got Counter-Strike, you've got StarCraft, which are probably the three biggest powerhouses in terms of
Except for
esports.
StarCraft is like
But
is dying.
It's dying, but StarCraft was the key establishment, you know, where like it started getting recognized,
Yeah.
like for as a sport in Korea. Like that's for me where it jumped, where it's like this is a professional sport, you know.
Old Brood War.
Yeah, but in terms of games like being considered competitive enough to be considered as like be taken very seriously, let's see. Definitely there has to be a ranking system. There has to be a tournament system, I think. There has to be a ranking system, a tournament system. Of course, there has to be multiplayer. Unless we're talking about like speed runs, which can be a completely different thing. Because that
form of like game
technically that is it is
Yeah.
competition. So
But
that's
it's
something.
not like your typical sport orientation where it's like this team versus this team. That's
Right.
more like me trying to beat a time, individual one-on-one kind of things.
Yeah,
but not like a Smash one-on-one, or a Street Fighter one-on-one.
Yeah. But see, think about it that way though. Like that something like that where you have a lot of people who speed run, and they do compete against other speedrunners.
Hmm.
Like I mean, I think that takes a decent amount of skill because you
Oh,
play that
yeah, no,
game.
definitely.
It takes hours on hours to play that game, to learn the tricks and the trades, to learn the glitches and everything, to get through certain parts of the map and everything. Like you
Yeah,
can't.
I think it's just good that there's that much variety. Like when initially thinking of that, when you said competitive gaming, I thought of CS:GO and League. Those were like the two that popped in my mind.
Yeah.
Even though StarCraft 2 was the one that brought me into the esports scene. Esports, whatever. But just now I didn't even think, oh yeah, no, there is like the whole fighting game scene, which is actually fairly big. And then there's the things like speed running competitions and stuff like that, where it's like, oh yeah, no, there's like more than just one style. There's like a vast, not majority, a vast different, what I'm trying to say, a variety. There we go. There's a large variety of games that are taken in a very serious manner. It's just the thing with like something like speedrunning is, could you consider yourself like a professional speedrunner? Like, could you use that as like your calling card or title? Go like introduce, oh yeah, I'm a professional speedrunner.
Oh
Like,
yeah, absolutely. I definitely
like,
think so.
I don't know though, because I don't think it's gotten that big enough. Like there's people who I would consider like pro at it, but not like professional. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
I think for me, it's like if you were to consider somebody a professional speedrunner, they would have like They would master one game, and then somebody would be like, all right, speedrun this. And people would be like, all right, or he'd be like, all right, cool, done. Like, at that kind of instant where it's like, not in like, he can do it in an instant, but he can figure out things like much quicker than a normal speedrunner would, you know? Like, he would learn about it and pick up things like quicker than normal. I don't know, maybe that's what I would consider like a professional speedrunner. Because I've seen people speedrun, like, I follow Majin Phil, he's a speedrunner. He speedruns Zelda a lot. And it's insane how fucking
I remember
quick he does
watching
that.
just the Awesome Games Done Quick, like that huge convention that they had going. Those guys are insane.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, all right, well, my last 3 hours revolves around this glitch. If I don't get it, then I just wasted my entire time.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like that's ridiculous.
Right, exactly. Crazy.
Completely crazy.
But I think what mainly is focused on in terms of being a competitive game is, again, like, you know, the scene that you have, kind of game that is as the main source of the competitive like gaming community. So like League, CS right now, those are big. Dota's, it's surprisingly Dota's not there. It's there,
Well, okay,
but it's
it is.
not.
I just think it's. I don't know. With Dota, it seems like there's almost always something going on, so it's never like. I don't know. It's not advertised as well as something like League of Legends. Whenever League of Legends has the LCS playing, it gets like 200,000 viewers, but Dota is almost always having some form of small competition, like CS:GO. Like right now, I'm watching the ESL Pro League North America. It's on this screen, so anytime I'm looking this way, I'm looking at the score. So, but the thing with CS:GO is it's got like a lot of like the betting going on with it that you can do with like skins and stuff. I don't know if Dota 2 has that, because I know for a fact that that brings a bunch of people into watching these games, is just because they're betting on it. But something with Dota, it's like the game itself, like pro scene wise, is definitely big, because the like even just the prize pools that they have are definitely like worthy of being big sport events, and they've gotten like TV coverage and stuff like that, so that they're just going out it a different route than League is. League is like strictly like Twitch, LCS, that's what we do. Whereas Dota is trying to, I think, get more into the TV side of it, not just Twitch.
But that's the weird thing though, because League has gotten featured on ESPN
Yeah.
for their most recent Worlds.
Yeah. I mean, they both had.
Like,
But I think another issue is just Dota, the scene. It just feels elitist, and that could be an issue. It's the same thing that happened with the StarCraft scene. Is StarCraft was like everyone who played StarCraft would just shit on League because it's like that game's for people who don't know how to play a game well. Like that game's too easy, blah blah blah. No one can take it seriously.
yeah.
But then nobody could play even like close to the level of one particular region of
Right.
StarCraft, that it just got boring and repetitive. It's like, all right, let's watch. I mean, not say anything about Koreans, but let's watch this Korean team player completely destroy anyone who attempts to play them that's not Korean. And it just, because it was so like elitist, people just got bored of it. It's like, well, I can't even bother with this. Who cares? So I think that's an issue with the Dota scene, is it feels like that. It's like, no, we're the better form of League, whereas League doesn't care. It's just like, well, no, we're just League.
I think that's the one thing about like the competitive scene that it kind of, or not so much. Okay, so not so much the pro scene, because the pro scene they're their own world, but like the competitive scene in any game in general is that's what bothers me with some of those games. It's like they're so busy on being like, oh, I'm the better, like Dota is so much better because this and this, and it's like, oh, League is the best because this. It's like, well, like that's why it's hard to take any of it seriously, because people are just bickering at like fact that one has to be better than the other, you know. Like if you look at this, it's I definitely feel like that games like League, you know, have a staple of our competitive community, you know? Because I don't know, find that that's the most entertaining for most people and whatnot.
Maybe.
Like there's more strategic play amongst it and everything, and compared to something like, I don't know, I feel like with Dota it's just hard to understand. Like watching it being played is the hardest thing to understand.
Yeah, and I think that's has to do with a lot of casting. The game itself plays very similar to League. Like, I mean, the game is they're the same game with differences here and there. But a lot of it is the production level of League of Legends is by far higher than Dota, and that makes it easier for people to understand. The casters do a better job of explaining things during downtime, whereas if you watch a lot of Dota streams, they are recapping things, but it's a lot harder because they're not explaining. They're saying things like, "Oh yeah, he's using this ability, and this ability." Well, if you don't know what those abilities are or what those items do, it's like, cool. I don't even know which unit you're talking about.
Right.
It's just one of those. That has to do with more the esports like casting side of it rather than the game itself. Granted, the game is difficult. Going from League to trying to play Dota, definitely a lot harder. But I have friends who thought different. One of my friends was Dota first, can't stand League, doesn't know how to play it, but would rather play Dota. So it's just one of those weird. And I think it does, like, the issue is casting of the game, where it's just like it's hard to understand what's going on unless you already know. I mean, if you even with League, if you stick somebody who's never played the game and have them watch the LCS, most of the time they're going to be like, I don't get what's going on. It's just a bunch of flashing numbers and colors. But
Which I don't know, because I feel differently. Like, I feel like, yes, granted, we have our backgrounds behind the.
I think that has a huge role in it, though. We've grown up playing games, so it's like, oh, it's just this mechanic. That's
Right,
it's
but
like this game and this game.
But you see, even the thing, like, my brother-in-law, he's always sat here and, like, sat and watched me play. He can at least pick up on some of the smaller things, you know? Like, he can see, like, oh, shit, like, oh, man, like, they're pushing in towards, like, the enemy. Like, you can kind of distinguish things easier. Whereas games like Dota, it's very unclear at times.
And that just, I agree with that, and I think part of it is because the map itself, Dota is darker and it looks more cluttered. But that's because you can react or interact with the environment more than you can in League. Like, you can actually cut down trees, and your abilities you can get people stuck on cliffs and stuff like that. But because of that, the map looks so crowded.
Yeah.
That it's hard to decipher what's a lane and what isn't. Whereas in League, it's like, oh, even though the map looks good, this is obviously a path. This is obviously a top lane. This is obviously middle lane. This is obviously the river. Whereas in Dota, it's not so obvious, which has a huge part in playing. Is it's visually confusing, and then throw in all the information casters are saying, and that's overwhelming.
Right. What do you think, Neon?
I agree. I think in League versus Dota, I don't know why. I just feel like League's a lot easier for people to understand than Dota.
Mm-hmm.
Like, me and my friend were randomly watching just games one day on Twitch, and then we were watching LCS on Twitch and for League, and then like he knew nothing about League, but he was able to understand, oh, this guy's a tank, oh, this guy's a ranged person, and what else and whatever, oh, he's supposed to go here, he's supposed to go there. Like he was able to understand the basics of League. And then I don't know, and then we tried to watch Dota, some streamer on Dota, we just did not understand anything, I guess. Even though, I mean, it's kind of basically the same thing, I'm guessing. Dota has the range, the ADC, right?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's
They
similar,
do,
yeah.
but the roles are also more
They're all
or less
all
set
the
in stone.
yeah, all the
Yeah.
roles that are in Dota are all flex roles. So like,
Yeah.
Right, so
Which
it makes it
again doesn't help.
yeah. So Dota's a little bit more complicated to follow than League. Like, even my nephew watches League, and he doesn't really play League himself. So
Yeah,
I think it's
it's
just
visually more appealing.
yes, yeah. It's just, it appeals to a lot wider crowd than Dota. So I think that has a lot to do with League. But I mean, in the terms of like competitiveness and esports and whatnot, I think Dota has a bigger crowd or a bigger footing in that because I just see a lot more stuff going on with Dota than I do with League.
Yeah,
Like League, I don't see as many tournaments or whatnot, but Dota, there's always something.
yeah, and that's one reason I like the Dota scene is because there's something always going on. And it's the same reason I like Counter-Strike's competitive scene more than League. League is like, all right, we'll do our once a week tournament thing, and then once a year host our big tournament. Whereas Counter-Strike's like, all right, well, we have every day somebody's playing, and every other week we have some other big tournament. We have different majors depending on different companies. And the same with Dota. Dota and Counter-Strike, Valve being a big part of that, are in a lot of those different tournaments at the same time. Whereas League is like, are they gonna show up for this one? Yeah, we don't know. Like
Right.
MLG, which doesn't exist anymore, or kind of doesn't exist. There was an issue when League was there because League players, I guess this is just from a few accounts of different pro players, said that MLG kind of treated League horribly because they were already so focused on Dota and Counter-Strike that League was just kind of like, oh crap, here's our awkward cousin who's coming in trying to get in here. And so they kind of booted them out. And then that's what caused Riot to like really make the LCS a big thing. But it was one of those like, that kind of sucks that the community itself did that, where it's just like we outcast people. It's like, how dare you try to be part of this tournament? Like I love all of them, like not equally, but I enjoy all of them.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, everyone doesn't like that awkward cousin. Everyone has that one where it's just like, oh no, John's coming over again. No, how long's he here for?
See, I think that's the thing too with like competitive scene is that I think scares a lot of people from gaming for some gaming. Like for people who are young, want to get in the competitive scene for some games, they get scared because of that. Because so many people are like the gaming community in each community, they outcast people who are like, you know, oh, you're a League player, pff, fuck you, you know, or oh, you're play CS:GO, pff, you're a scrub, you have no light, or like, oh, you're a pro WoW player, fine, you suck too. Like, that's the thing that sucks, you know, because all of these games, the fact that you can play any of these games professionally at all is huge.
Yeah,
that's that's a gigantic leap from where we used to be, like, what, like 7 years ago?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, why are we being so? Why are we being so discriminating towards one another? It's just like we should be excited that any form of video games is being successful on like a professional sporting level, because if any of them gets in, that sets the big old foot in the door for the rest of them.
Yeah,
not necessarily all of them, but it's like if we can get one of those to be consistent on ESPN and successful on ESPN, then it's just only a matter of time till the next one comes, and that's what we should be shooting for. But instead, we're trying to figure out which is the best one. That's what we're trying to fight. So I was like, oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Neon.
Yeah, I don't know why there's discrimination. I mean, if somebody's a pro gamer in one thing, I do not want to go against them in another thing, because there's a pro WoW player. His name is Peekaboo, right? And then he was pro WoW player. He done that professionally for years, and he's only like 16 or whatever. But then he also plays League, and I was like, all right, he spends so much time playing WoW, I'm gonna whoop his ass in League. I didn't know that dude was challenger like 3 times over each season, and then I just got my ass whooped every time, and I was just like, okay, I get it. If you're good at one game, you're probably good at another.
Yeah.
Because if you're a pro at one game, that means you have a certain level of skill. You know, your reaction time is great. You know what to do. Like you focused. So if somebody's that focused at one game, they're going to be that focused in another game. That's just who they
it's
are.
like professional athletes. Like take a football player like a running back and play basketball on him with him. He's probably going to be not at the NBA level, but he's definitely going to kick anybody's butt that's like trying to do a pickup game. Like,
Yeah.
just because they have that form of training where they're just better than the average Joe. That's why they're professional.
So what if you take a professional football player and have him try to play hockey?
That would be hilarious. Could you imagine like a 400-pound linebacker, like, or I don't know, lineman in freaking skates? He could probably play freaking goalie well. He just has to sit there and take up the entire goal.
That's true.
But so with that analogy, like think about it. So it's like, so what about a pro? Like a pro. Let's see. The far-fetched. A pro Hearthstone player who's never touched any other game like shooters or anything, trying to play StarCraft professionally. Like,
Okay, I think StarCraft's an outlier just because that game itself it doesn't, I don't know, the skills in that game, you have to have played that game first.
okay.
Because the micromanaging and the macromanaging in that game is completely different than like a League game or CS:GO.
Okay,
So it's a little bit of an outlier, but you put a StarCraft or a Hearthstone player in Counter-Strike, and I bet they'd be a great in-game leader. They wouldn't be top fragging, but teach them like the maps and like different situations, and they can probably manage the economy. Know like, hey, we just lost these 2 rounds, but they bought this and this, so they probably aren't doing well in money-wise this way. So all we have to do is get 3 kills this round, and we'll be good for next. Like they have that level because Hearthstone is a strategy game. It's all about outplaying your opponent's hand.
Yeah.
Like what do I know he has, and what do I think he'll play? Which is a way of thinking that not everyone who plays Counter-Strike thinks. They just kind of look at a corner and rely on quick reactions. But an in-game leader needs an in-game leader for League. Think of Cloud9. If they don't have high, they don't look like anything. They look like they might as well be a high school professional team. But if they have high on their team, their in-game leader, he knows the map incredibly well. He knows when to make the right calls, and just that level of strategic knowledge carries the team. He himself doesn't play like the most significant of roles, gameplay, like during a fight or whatnot, but he makes the right calls that he doesn't need to necessarily even be.
right.
So it's one of those, like, I don't know, it's just the fact that they're pros and they spend so much time understanding and learning how to be better at what they do, they can just go to another game. And I think that's a big boon for esports, is that it is more accessible to play with pros. Like, you jump on any pro League player's stream, and occasionally they'll do like a sub ARAM game, which is something we can't do. Like, I could never dream of playing a pickup game with Steph Curry. No way.
That'd
Like,
be awesome.
yeah, it'd be amazing, right? And that's like what we get with esports, is we can go and play with like Sneaky. He'll do a sub game and we can play with them, or we can go and play a few Hearthstone games with Trump, like maybe catch him on ladder kind of thing. So I think that's like one of a big reason sports is able to grow that significant, is because kids are able to play games, or even like young adults or adults, whatever, are able to play games with the pros they look up to. Whereas normal sports, it's like, look at this guy who I could never actually meet. I don't know. I think that's one reason I like it.
I think it'd be cool to play a pickup game with Steph Curry, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't last 10 seconds in the court at all. So
True. Yeah, that's a good thing about video games, is that, like what he said, Josh said, you can play with like some famous pro player. Like I played with Cloud9 Meteos, right? That's his name.
Yep.
what?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was playing with him, and I never thought I would play with Peekaboo because he was also somebody I grew up watching, or not grew up, but watched for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's younger than me. But,
Video game grew up watching.
But yeah, I never thought I would, but I did, and I was just like, okay, I learned a lot from them, and learned more from this game than I ever thought I would just playing 2 games with them. So
That's awesome. So, at what point then? At what point would you start to take a game seriously in a competitive manner? When would so? If you love a game so much, when should a young person take that in mind and be like, you know what, I should start taking this very seriously in a very competitive manner? Yes, you know, granted, it's whenever you like you feel like, you know, I want to go pro with this, right? Of course, that is a given. But like, what do you guys think? How do you think that should go?
No barking.
I think you should go pro once you feel you have a strong passion for it. Yeah, because anytime I've ever wanted to like try to go pro in a game, I have had that peak of like passion for the game. Like, wow, back in Mists of Pandaria, the last expansion, I just found the game so enjoyable and so much fun to play and so much fun to learn all the new stuff. And then I was just like, all right, maybe I'll try to go pro at this. So I just went and watched all the videos I could on pro WoW players. I watched Wreckful when he played. I watched Sea-Doo. I watched all these people just learn the game better. And then I took it serious, and I actually got 2K rating, which is good. But then my passion died down for it. And then when my passion died down for it, the game died for me too.
Yeah.
So I think if you take the thing with getting too passionate about a game is that when it dies down, the game dies for you too. Unfortunately.
And that's what that's what makes a professional. Because I'm sure professional athletes hit a point where it's like, I do not ever want to pick up a basketball again, or I don't ever want to throw a football again. But everyone kind of has those slumps. But I think like a good like starting level is if a game has a ladder system. Am I playing with a lot of pros consistently? Then maybe my skill set is good enough to pursue that. Because you can have a bronze person have all the passion in the world, but if he still plays like a bronze level player, he's never going to go pro.
Right.
Like, you still have to, you can improve. I'm never saying you can't ever improve, but it takes a lot of passion and a lot of studying. Like you said, watching videos, figuring out everything possible. Where it's just like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm bronze and I've won every game for the past like week, I should be pro. Like, nah, it doesn't work like that. Are you challenger and are you winning all games, every game, carrying them or whatnot, and you're playing with pros doing this? Maybe they're not playing as hard as they do in a professional scene, but they're still like the pros. So it's like, if you're doing that, then yeah, go freaking see if you can pursue a professional career. But first comes the hard work. You don't just pick up a basketball, win a few like pickup games and join the NBA, unless you're like LeBron James and go from high school to the NBA. But that's because he was damn good at the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot.
So it does take an insane amount of like dedication and devotion to a game, and it unfortunately requires just a base level of skill. You can't just be super passionate for a game, but if you suck at it, there's other ways to be in the esports. If you're super passionate about games, you can be casters, you can be like forum kind of guys, but unless you're actually good at the game, I don't know if you should, if doing a pro status is a good thing, which is hard to hear because I wanted to be pro in multiple games, but I just realized I don't think I'm ever going to be good enough to be pro at any of these games. So
yeah, it just requires a combination of passion and then just a lot of work, a lot of grinding, a lot of time put into the game. So you got to make sure you have that time to put into the game if you want to go competitive.
Like these pro players, I guarantee spend hours and hours. Like, they probably wake up, play, go to sleep, wake up and play. Like, that's what they do. And I hate using the word play just because it sounds like not trying very hard.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. Where it's just like these guys spend hours every single day trying to learn a single champion or just master the spray of a single gun. Whereas yet people were just like, all right, I'll just jump in a deathmatch. Oh, I won that one. I'll go jump in. Like, it's not the same. These guys are so devoted to what they do. It's actually kind of like awe-inspiring.
See, I think that's one thing with particular gaming communities. Like for me, I almost wanted to go pro with playing League because I was started to climb and excel in things that I was doing in terms of skill wise. But I think that's one thing that makes it hard for people who want to go pro is not having people behind them who want to do it too. Like for me, our school did a competitive, was trying to do a competitive scene for League. We were trying to get a competitive team going for our colleges and enter in the CSL. And we were, I was the team, that was the part of the, I wasn't the team, no, I wasn't the captain. I wasn't the captain because I think I wasn't of ranking, but our manager was trying to organize like, practices and stuff for us. And people that we had just weren't like dedicated to doing it, which that's the thing that sucks about like some of these games that you can go pro in, is if you don't have people behind you want to join and like be like, yeah, let's do it, like I actually want to make a team. They have to be just as dedicated. Like how do you think people overcome those obstacles where they like, well, fuck, I'm by myself, and what do I do?
Yeah.
I mean, if you that's a big thing. That's another big thing. That's why I've never like gone pro or try to go competitive in any game, is because it's so hard to find a team that already has like a lot of people established. Like a lot of people who want to be competitive already have like a group of people, and it's hard to get into one when you're starting out. So like for League, it's impossible to find people who all have the time to just practice at the same time every day just to go competitive. Same with CS, same with WoW, same with anything. It's just hard to find a dedicated team to go competitive.
Yeah. Like I see this question. I watch a lot of Cloud9, like Shroud. He's Cloud9 Pro for CS:GO, and he talks about the fact that like people ask him, "Oh, what about this streamer? Why doesn't he go pro in that game?" And it's one of those like, that's because he couldn't, because first off, that's not what he wants to do. He may be at our level of playing because he's always playing with us, but like he's got his own responsibilities of being a streamer. That's what he is. He would have to give that up to be a professional gamer or whatever. And I'm kind of losing the train of thought, but it's one of those like, to be solo, like a solo queue player that becomes professional, again, it goes to, you have to somehow consistently play with these pros and get recognized by them and be like consistently playing up against these guys, and then have like your odd ones be calling you out, like who's this guy, why is he always like in my jungle destroying me or whatnot. And then eventually a team is gonna need a spot, like even if it's a semi-pro team, if you're good enough and you're show that like in your gameplays and like you're out there, maybe be a streamer first and then show that you're that good, then you can become like, you'll be offered a position, or you can try out. Like teams do have tryouts and stuff like that. But it's again, it's one of those, you have to be real good at the game, and it's a little bit of like getting yourself out there to be successful.
Yeah. Shit, I'm just gonna go pro in Hearthstone.
See, that's why Hearthstone did so well. It's because it's just you. It solely requires how well and how hard you work. Hearthstone did it, and that's what appealed me to the game Blade and Soul, is because that their PvP system was solely 1-on-1 or 1v1. So that's what appealed to me in Blade and Soul, was just I don't need a team. It would solely require how hard I worked at the game, and that's why like Hearthstone did well, and that's why Blade and Soul still does well. It's because it's just like it's just one person. It's just you.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I kind of don't like that. I think my one thing with something like Hearthstone is that since it's a very RNG game, which granted still means it still means that yes, there's still a pro extent to it. It's just I feel like it's just too much like random variety. I don't know. Like I feel like for me with like other games like what like we're seeing right now like with CS:GO and League and everything, there's a bit more predictability in it and it's like visual. I don't know. I feel like it's more controlled.
Yeah, with Hearthstone, it's 80% RNG, 20% skill. But you still need that 20% skill. Like, you need to understand how decks work, understand how cards work. You have to theory craft decks all the time just to stay ahead. Like, you have to have a deck that nobody else has, and it's hard to keep that deck a secret for a long time.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, like, even myself when I play Hearthstone, I'm by no means really good at Hearthstone. I think I've peaked at rank 7, but that was before any of the expansions came out. And since then, I peaked at like 15, so I'm not really good at this game. But there is even times where I'm playing this game where I'm like, all right, I know I have 2 of these cards in the deck. There's 20 cards left. I have a tenth of a chance of drawing the card I need, kind of thing. So it is RNG, but you can do the math to try to predict the game. Or it's like during my opponent's turn, I'm like, all right, if he does this and this, I need to draw this card, and if I don't, I'm pretty much screwed. Like, that's the part of the RNG, and you see that in professional RNG or professional RNG, professional Hearthstone, or even if you watch like the Magic tours, where people like 2 turns in will concede because they're just like, no, I'm with my hand and what's in my deck, it's you'll beat me, kind of thing. Whereas like that's why you in those kind of games you can't have just like a best of 1 series. It wouldn't be like, I don't know, it wouldn't work. Where if you watch ESL, they'll have like 3 decks. I'll have my Hunter deck, my Paladin, and then my Warlock deck against your 3 decks, and it's best of 2 or best of 3. If I win with my deck, I can use it again until you lose or whatnot, whatever. But it's one of those like, even if it is RNG, you can do the math to kind of predict it. It's like with poker. Poker is an incredibly successful, like professional game where there's millions of dollars put into it, but it's really just I have my 2 cards and then the dealer does the rest of the game. Like,
true. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That helps me understand it.
Yeah, it's a math game.
Yep. I mean, yeah, Hearthstone just requires some form of skill on how decks work, but it's also tough to stay competitive in Hearthstone. Like, you have to play it each season, each time a new expansion arrives out, or you will fall so far behind. Like, you have to keep up with the expansions, because if not, you will not have the cards needed to go anywhere in the game.
Yep.
Which sucks, because either you're going to have to pay real money for it, or you're going to have to play so much of the game that it just gets, for me, boring.
Yeah.
Playing that much just
luckily, they're introducing their new standard, where it's like, if you want to play ranked, there's 2 different versions of it. There's Wild, which is like it's now, where all cards are free to play. You can use them, build your decks. But then they're introducing a standard version, where it's like, the vanilla cards plus the last expansion, and that's it, or whatever. I don't know exactly how they're doing it, but in order to try to combat the fact that if you don't have all the cards, you can still be at a consistent level as long as you have the most recent cards, kind of thing. Which I like. Magic does the same, but then again, you watch these tournaments, and I'm like, this guy's Magic deck is worth $20,000 freaking dollars. Like, how could I even possibly attempt to be a pro if it's going to cost that much?
Yeah.
No, that's just where Hearthstone kind of fails for me. It's just like,
yeah, and I think that's a big draw with why a lot of people don't like it or won't take it serious.
Yeah, but I mean, back in the beginning, it was fun. Like, I did get rank 1 when Face Hunter was the thing, and it was just like super OP, and I was just like, I'm gonna take advantage of it because I have all the cards. I'm lucky. And I got rank 1 just being an AIDS hunter. So,
Right.
but I mean, Hearthstone is definitely, if you have the money and you have the time, is probably the easiest thing to go competitive in. At least in my mind.
I just wish the card, like the system of not having cards wasn't so important. Because I don't mind it. It's a fun game. It's cool. It's just like every time I play, I'm like, shit, I don't have a card like that. Shit, he's got a legendary. What the hell was that? I'm like, oh fuck. All right, I'm not playing anymore. I'm done. I quit. And I'll
Yeah.
quit out of it. It's like,
But to counter that, the people who have those cards are the people who play the game a lot, which is like we were saying, it requires hard work and consistently of playing the game. You're rewarded with the cards you need to become better. Whereas if you're only going to play like when you're on the toilet and on your phone, of course you're not going to have all the cards unless you spend $700 on packs hoping to get them.
Yeah, which sucks, but that's just the name of the Hearthstone game.
Yeah, that's with I think any card game.
Yeah.
In order to be successful, you need the cards.
Yep.
so
Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh.
remember the good old days of Yu-Gi-Oh.
I've played my fair share of
I
Yu-Gi-Oh
remember
tournaments.
playing
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh
me too.
in elementary school and like sitting out on like a lunch table. Like we'd all put our cards out, and then you'd have like the yard duty walk by and it's like, what's going on over here? And then you're like, yeah. Like he came
Yeah.
over acting like we're like, what are you doing, dealing drugs? What are you doing, guys? What are you doing?
Yeah, I legit treated Yu-Gi-Oh like I was dealing drugs back in elementary school. I was selling so many Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It was crazy. I legit made $100 in my second grade just selling
That's
Yu-Gi-Oh
awesome.
cards.
Nice. So it was brought up earlier in chat. So we have our set of games that are pro games and are easy to like, not easy to become pro in, but are easily recognized as a pro game. Now, what about a game like Heroes of the Storm? I think that's good to talk about, because this game, whoops, wrong button. It doesn't quite feel like a pro series, but there is an extensive pro circuit. I actually have a friend who part of a pro team, and he actually played in a pro series.
I mean, okay, first with Heroes of the Storm, I feel like it only has a competitive scene because it's a Blizzard game.
Yep, I was gonna point that out too.
Yeah, I think that's the big reason why Heroes of the Storm has it. Other than that, I just feel like it's a lesser version of both League and Dota. I just don't like it.
Yeah, same here. Like
Yep,
it's fun. It just feels so lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything just feels so like it's like a goddamn pillow fight. Like you're running around and just like
Yeah.
like that.
just-
Like
Team deathmatch.
You
which
can
it's
lose a game in like 2 minutes. You can also win a game in like an hour. Like you don't. Everyone shares experience. You don't have to buy items. It's just I don't know. It's like the real easy version of the other two.
like it's fun, and I see where like I can see where strategically things happen to make it so it's more competitive and more like there's a lot more of a professional scene behind it. But the game itself, like for those of you who have played it, it's fun. It just doesn't feel like you're doing anything.
Oh no, yeah. When it first came out, I played with Anna and them, and I was easily within the 2 hours able to pick up everything about the game and what it was about, and we never lost a game the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
it was
just learning. It's like, oh, this is a new map. What's the quirk on this map? Okay, I know the quirk. Now I know how to win this map.
Yeah, it was just too easy. Like it just felt like it wasn't. It was made way too casual for a MOBA.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks
Which
because like I was hoping it'd be kind of like League level where it's like I was so excited because I was like, you can play as Jim Raynor. Oh shit! And I still play it to this day. Like where like I'll play a bunch of him, and like that's only character I play because I still haven't gotten into master level yet. To have the gold for his master skin, that's all I wanted, and I'm alright. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I think that's what the appeal of Heroes of the Storm was too. It's like, oh, here are all the Blizzard characters that
Yeah.
you guys know and love in a MOBA version. Go play it. But it's like super easy at the same time. I mean, I mean, that's why it does so well, though. But it's also what keeps me away from the game myself.
Because you're already so involved in it already.
It's just I just don't care for the game. I see its appeal. I can see why it has a pro scene behind it, because you can play it proly, I guess. But it's super easy to go. It's just so easy. It's so easy. It's like trying to take, I don't know, some easy game and make it pro.
Pokemon.
Pokemon, yeah. It's like no. Pokemon is actually way more difficult to go pro in than this. Like, have you seen how difficult it is to go pro in Pokemon?
I didn't even know that was such a thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
How the fuck is that even a thing?
Okay, so apparently each of your Pokemon at like base level has a certain amount of stats. So you have to like breed all your Pokemon to level 1 and then level it up the correct way by fighting certain monsters, by fighting certain other Pokemon just to level up a certain stat just to get it to 100. And I've never gotten more than 2 of my whole Pokemon team to 100 in a game. I was just like, no, this is way too difficult for me. Like, Pokemon is so difficult to go pro in. It's so pro. It's so difficult. Wow.
And they're really
But
interesting.
to go back to like the heroes, like the reason it even had a successful competitive scene is because it's a Blizzard game, and it's the same reason why Overwatch will have at least a relatively successful pro scene.
Can't wait.
Like, it's Overwatch is, I'm gonna say it, a better TF2. I think it's a better TF2. And because of that, maybe we'll have a better pro scene, but like it's the same game as TF2, so why didn't TF2 have like this great pro scene? If you know?
It's funny because I was throwing that up too.
The big thing is because it's Blizzard, and Blizzard's already established in like esports, so all their games, they know how to market it, they know how to put it out there properly, and they have just a big following of, oh, this is another Blizzard game, thus I will play it because it's a Blizzard game. And because of that, it's just going to have enough people playing the game that enough people are going to take the game seriously, that companies are going to be like, all right, people care about this, so we're going to back it, or we're going to at least be interested in it because it's Blizzard. You throw on, like, if you had thrown on Blizzard's name on, like, Farmville, maybe Farmville would have been... I mean, Farmville's still freaking big, but it's not like a competitive game. But yeah. I'm sure Blizzard could have figured out a way to make that game competitive.
Oh no, they're gonna find out about Stardew. Even before Stardew's the next esport. Shit, I quit this game.
Quickest to have the best farm.
Weirdly,
Stardew. It can
WoW
happen.
actually had in Mists of Pandaria where you had your own farm.
I do remember that.
That's
I never
weird.
actually did that. I didn't care for it.
Very
And
weird.
you had to water your plants. You had to grow them, and then you had to cut them, then you had to like make food, and yeah, they had their own like little Farmville in WoW, which they could do if Blizzard really wanted to. They could have their own Farmville, own Stardew Valley game. Like, you just make it where it's the pandas from WoW, just growing farms and growing crops. Please don't do that, Blizzard.
Yeah, I know.
Oh god, I hope you're not listening, Blizzard employees. Please don't.
The one guy who's just randomly looking through streams today, and he's just like, "Shit, that's a really good idea."
Oh my god, $1 million idea.
Where did they hear that? We were already working on it.
Find this guy.
Next thing you know, oh yeah, no, Pika Panda can never stream again. I don't know what happened.
And then you go to Josh's channel and says banned for.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back to what I think you were getting at, like going competitive in a game that's not as big as League and CS:GO. I mean, it's doable. There's always just like small tournaments that you could do for that game, like Heroes of the Storm, or quick, somebody give me another one.
I'm on the spot now. But yeah,
you
I
get-
like what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's definitely a spot for you in that. It's just not as big as you'll never be as big as a League player or something, or that recognized.
Right.
So it's possible. It's just not.
So what about games like Smite? they have a competitive scene.
Mhm.
What do you think is holding them back? Because yes, they're surrounded by the League and Dota, and Heroes of the Storm is slowly working on it.
I think the issue is they tried when it was advertised, it was kind of advertised as a different version of League, which you don't really want to. It's like anytime a company comes out with a game, it's like this will be the next WoW killer. You just kind of doomed the game by saying that because nothing's gonna trump WoW. It's got already such a big following that people are just gonna be like, I'd rather. Well, there's nothing different here. I might as well go to the game I've already spent 100 hours playing. Whereas even though the game is different than League and it plays pretty different, people compared it to League, which is like, I don't know. It's hard when you're already compared to a giant to be successful. I mean, it does have a decently successful scene, but what's holding it back is the fact that people compare it to games that are already bigger.
Like, have either of you guys played it?
I personally have not. I've watched a tournament. I've personally not played the game, though.
I would never play the main game mode for Smite, which is the traditional MOBA, but I played the arena, and that's super fun. I wish there was more something to that than just the team deathmatch thing. But with Smite, I feel like it's hard to go against Dota and League right now. Like any MOBA that comes out is going to have a tough time finding its footing with League and Dota already dominating. So, and the problem with Smite is just the third person aspect of it, or it's just off-putting to some people, and it does get compared to League a lot. Even people who don't play League compare it to League, which sucks. So, I don't know. Smite, it does well. It doesn't do as well as it could. And
go ahead.
It has its like random fluctuations of being popular and then going back down. Like last summer, it was like huge for some reason. I don't know why, because a lot of streamers just randomly started playing it. I'm guessing they were paid, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it just dropped down. It just randomly dropped down to nothing again.
And that shows just how important streamers are for a lot of these sports, esports and stuff like that. Because you get people like Shroud. Anytime he streams, he's gonna get like 10,000 viewers. And that's 10,000 people who are, maybe 1,000 of them have never seen it, but they're like, who's this guy with 10,000 or kind of thing. Or if they, League of Legends streamers, they get like 30,000 viewers every time they play the game. Say that guy, he goes and says, hey, we're going to play this game instead. He's still going to get like a ridiculous amount of viewers seeing that game, which means a ridiculous amount of people are going to download that game that night and play it. Or then when he stops playing the game and people ask why and he says, oh, it sucks, that's 30,000 people who just heard that game sucked from somebody they look up to, and then that can hurt or kill the scene. For like indie developers, it's a huge thing to have streamers play your game, because getting 1,000 people to buy your game could mean your company succeeds, whereas if you don't, then you just wasted like the past 2 years of your life making a game, and that could be life-changing. So like the Twitch's scene for games is actually significant in a lot of games, whether they succeed or fail.
Yep. Streamers have a huge influence on games. Like this was what I was talking to Reaper about the game Mean Green. It has literally 0 people playing it right now, and it's such a fun game, such a great design to a game. And then a streamer, Recful, one of the developers, gave him a copy for free, and he played it for 2 days. And during that 2 days, that game sold a lot more than it did the past like
the initial
3 months. Yeah,
Yep.
3 months it was out. So it was fun. In the 2 days he played it, there was a lot of people playing it, and I was able to play at least a few games than I was able to when nobody else was playing it. So when he stopped, that game just died. It was dead. There's no, you couldn't queue up for a game. You couldn't do literally anything in that game at all. And it was just like, that sucks, because it's a really fun game, but streamers do have a huge influence on games, indie games especially.
Yeah, because like a Call of Duty is not going to care if somebody stream their game. They're gonna make another one next year anyway. Like,
Yeah.
AAA companies don't care, but an indie developer that make or break. That's success versus absolute failure.
Yeah.
Yes,
That can,
this is like with Stardew.
Mhm.
Stardew got huge because of fucking Twitch. Because I wonder who the first person was to stream it.
I don't even remember.
yeah. I'm pretty sure the developer of Stardew, it was like Reaper said, one person, I guess.
Yeah, so it was one guy that like spent I think 4
4 to 5 years on that one game alone.
Oh yeah, because he was like busy learning coding and everything, and like trying to
and
and he was learning coding, and he made the pixel art all on his own. Every single part of that pixel art is that's extremely extensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've done pixel art, and it's fucking insanely hard.
That's just blows my mind. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the developer just gave away a bunch of free copies to popular streamers.
Yeah.
Or at least paid them something to play it, and that's why it got so huge. Like, one person saw another person playing it, and then another streamer saw another streamer playing it. It's just like, yeah.
I mean, I've totally fallen into I see a streamer I like playing a game. I watch it for half an hour. I'm like, I want to buy that game.
Yeah.
And buying the game just to play it and be like, this was more fun to watch than it was to play.
Yeah, and then like you're like looking at your Steam library like, oh shit, now it's stuck in there. I can't get out of it.
Yep. It's like, well, it was only $15, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's streamers definitely have a big part in that. Not even just streamers. YouTube does the same thing. You get people who like Jesse Cox, who owns a professional Heroes of the Storm team. And the reason he did that is because he liked the game, so he decided, I want to see if this esports scene will grow. Or people like Total Biscuit, who owns a StarCraft team. So it's one of those, like, as much as we're a part of it, like as a viewer, streamers are huge into it too.
Right.
Or YouTubers, or any form of video game figure person. I'm so eloquent with words, it baffles myself.
we English is just not our language. We're all lead speak. That's it. That's why. Now with all that talk of like, now we got to think about like upcoming games. Now somebody mentioned earlier Paragon. It's a new MOBA coming out by Epic Games. Actually, I think Cliff Basinski is actually behind this game too. Like I think he was the one actually to develop it. What do you guys think of this? How do you think this would turn out? Because I think they're aiming in that same direction of Smite, where it's a third-person MOBA. How do you think something like this is gonna be?
I think just because the dude who made it, whatever his name is, Cliff Basinski. Yeah. I think because his name's behind it and he's so big in the gaming scene that it's gonna do well for a while. But like Smite or something or any other game, it's just gonna drop down. I don't think it's gonna have the longevity of a lot of other games, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just think the genre of that game does that, because I mean, Total Biscuit and was playing that game. He was getting like 10,000 people watching it, and I had never seen it prior to that. But it's one of those. I feel like it looks good. The gameplay looks solid, but I just don't think the game itself is gonna keep the people who are initially interested. Like, it will have its hype period, but that's an issue with a lot of games, is they have a hype period. But games like that, which require people to continue to play the game, it's hard. Because a hype period for Stardew Valley, once you buy the game, he doesn't care what you do with it. He doesn't care if you spent like 40 hours playing the game versus 4 minutes.
Yeah, because you spent the $15 to get it,
exactly. Whereas a game like that is relying on the fact that people are going to continue to play the game, and I don't see it as a game that people will.
I mean, for this game, it might have somewhat of a competitive scene for a little bit. And my advice to anybody who wants to get into a competitive game, just to be competitive at a game, it's always best to do it for a game that's just released.
Yep.
Because you are like head start. Like going competitive in League or WoW or something, that's always hard because you're going against people. Let's say you get Challenger, you're going against challengers who've been challengers since Season 1 of League or Season 1 of WoW.
Yep.
But for a game that just released, you have a great chance to be competitive at a game.
Right, like I'm planning on going so hard with Overwatch.
Yeah, I don't remember what streamer I was watching who was playing Overwatch and he was talking about that, where there was a point where he was really good at the game. He thought he was like super, like maybe I'm top tier in this game, but then Overwatch, like more people started playing and he realized, well, that's because my window of people playing, I was good against them. But once these people who are already played these styles of games or more and more people playing it, then maybe I'm not that good. Where if you are and you can consistently top tiering when the game like goes big, then you have a really good chance. Yeah, I completely agree with the fact that like if you want to go pro in a game, try to get in at the start of the game, because you get teams like TSM. They were beta players. There was a group of 5 guys who played the game through beta, and then decided, hey, let's be really good at this game, and then now it's that team, like organization, owns teams for multiple different esports. And it just started because there were a group of guys who were like, this game's really fun and it has potential of being a pro scene. And then it became a pro scene, and now, yeah, yeah, not even beta. I forget that there's alpha before beta. But yeah, it's the whole same. Is they started at the beginning of the game. They decided this game will have, we are determined that this, or we are pretty much guaranteeing that this game is going to have a competitive scene. Let's play it at a competitive level from the get-go. And then they became one of the most successful North American teams that's ever played the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why I'm surprised that like
none of them play anymore.
Yeah, right. They all like retired. Did you see that video on I think it was on Dyrus. Like it was sort of like an HTC video where he like retired. It's like a retirement home, and then there's like a bunch of like retired League players there. There was like Odd One, I was there, but he got released because he got picked up again. Yeah. What's his name? Oh, Reginald was there. Dan Din was there. Saint Vicious was there. It's pretty funny. Check out.
Saint Vicious smites, man.
Yeah. Now, let's see, that surprises me with all these kinds of games, because it's like, think about something like, so, how long would we say esports has been around? Like, now it's much more publicly known, but before that, like...
I think I would know. My girlfriend just did her presentation on
exactly,
the birth of esports. And I think it's something like, it's only like 50 years old, 50, 60 years old, like, established esports. I don't know. It's not old.
Yeah. See, that surprises me.
The game itself isn't even old.
No. But it surprises me that games like Gears of War, like that game is highly competitive. I'm surprised that there wasn't any sort of pickup behind that for like an esports scene, you know?
I think they doom themselves. I mean, it's the same issue with Call of Duty. I think it's one of the reasons why it has a pro scene. But granted, it's a little different because Call of Duty is literally the same game, just different scenes and different weapons. But it's one of those, like, I don't know, they doom themselves by coming up with a sequel that changed the way the game was played. Yeah. And then the third one even changed the game. So in order, you would have to continue to be good at each of the different sequels. Whereas something like Call of Duty, they kind of have the same, where it's like, oh wait, which one are we playing? I just have to remember what guns we're using. So it goes to show you more that Call of Duty is the same game over and over. Stop buying it, please.
Yeah, exactly, right? Shit.
Yeah.
Like a pro in that game is gonna be pro at every Call of Duty game, because
same shit over and over.
They didn't change anything. They changed guns and numbers, like behind the scenes stuff, but the gameplay itself is the same. Whereas Gears, it stayed relatively the same, but they changed core mechanics of the game.
Yeah, it's always hard for a game with sequels to go pro.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna see League of Legends 2 go pro. They're just not gonna do it. Because I feel like people buy games, Gears of War, for the story mostly, and then 3 did have like a great multiplayer, but most of the people bought it just for the story, or because they already played 1 and 2, and then now they're just waiting for 4 if that ever comes out. So it's hard for games with sequels to do well, except for games like Call of Duty, where it's literally the same game over and over, no matter what sequel you buy, no matter how many years it's going to go on, it's going to be the same thing. Like, nobody buys Call of Duty for the story or any other game mode. So.
Alright, well, I think we've exhausted this topic as of now.
What time is it? How long have we been going?
Going for about an hour and a half. Pretty good.
You have time for this?
Huh? Yeah, we have time for the topic. We got plenty of time. So I think what we're gonna do now, guys, we're gonna take a quick intermission. We're gonna go 5-10 minutes, take a break, use the bathroom, get some water, grab your popcorn and everything, your pillows and everything like that, guys. I'll be right back. We are gonna take a short break.
Yep. Alright, guys, I need water.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
Hello.
I faded really early there. Welcome back, everybody. We're back to the show. You all grabbed your popcorn and shit.
I got milk duds. I'm good.
Oh, look, you're dead. I still
Big
can't, like,
bar. And now there's food in my teeth.
I still can't really, like, eat anything because these canker sores are killing me. Like, I can barely, like, chew. Because, like, I open my mouth to chew and shit, and it's just, like, it stings so much, and I'm just like, oh, horrible. Horrible.
Damn, those are that bad for you?
Well, I've been putting, like, vinegar on it and, like, kind of, like, stop the pain and everything, and just kind of, like, to kill the bacteria and make it heal. I haven't been doing anything.
You got to do the salt water, man. Salt
Yeah.
water, you gotta rinse it out with that.
I'll probably do that after the show.
Good idea. Yeah.
All right, so our next topic is a pretty light topic. It probably won't be a super long one, but next one is comic books or comics in general. How do you get in them? Genre. Hey. I think it's definitely an interesting topic because it's like we've been around comics for a little while as kids, and it's something we grew up with. Now, what about kids coming into the new age? Like, what about like the comics that they have out now?
That's a good question. Spider-Man sucks.
Hey, hold on. Here's what I had to say to that. Jake, go ahead. You can keep talking.
I mean, yeah, okay, so comic books is a lot easier to get into now than it was back when I was a kid. Mostly because nowadays you have apps where you can buy comic books, you can buy comic books offline, have them shipped to you. Like when I was a kid, you had to go to a store and get them. Like, but that sucked for me because there was no store inside where you could buy comic books, so I just bought them from yard sales and stuff. But yeah, if you're looking to get into comics nowadays, it's very easy. It's just depends on what genre you like. Like if you're into the superhero genre, if you're into the horror genre, if you're into the fantasy genre. And nowadays it's easy because everything comic book related is being made into a movie or a TV show. The Walking Dead, or any superhero you can name of, they're being made into TV, so it's easy. Somebody else go.
But I think that's the danger though, is that it's everything about comics are being made into TV series. Do you think that something like that would kill the comic book kind of era and like just turn everything digitized and there's no more paper anymore, there's no more like physical like product of a comic book, you know?
Are we talking like no comic books in general, or just
Yeah.
like digital comics? Is that still
just comic books in general.
comic books in general? I don't think comic books in general will ever die. You know, there's always going to be the readers and whatnot, and I do think that it helps more than it harms everything being made into a film, because like The Walking Dead got a lot of people into the Walking Dead comic, and it started selling more than it ever did originally. It helps more than it harms, in my opinion. And I don't think that it's ever going to die. It's going to slow down eventually, because more and more people nowadays in general are just reading less, unfortunately.
Yep.
So,
These things, phones.
But get them on your phone too.
yeah.
That's true.
It won't be a hard copy, but
Everything's going to go digital, and eventually we're just going to have a robot read us stories.
Robot, tuck us in bed and just be like, I am reading you this book, kind of shit.
Pretty much. So it depends on what the reader wants. Like, there's really a genre of comic for anybody. Like, superheroes are the easiest one to get into in comic books, just because, you got your Batman, you got your Superman. They're just like big household names. And the movie's helps because it makes you more interested in the world, because the comic books will always have more material than movies or TV shows.
Right. I've always wondered, like, what other comic book kind of genres are out there? Because as far as like my knowledge goes, like, you have your mangas, you have your animes, you have your mangas, you have your superhero comics, you have like some of your adult comics, but like, what would be like an in between some of that stuff, Because that's kind of the main realms that you have.
In between for kids and adults?
I don't know, like, what should there be an in between?
I mean, there's just super harmless comic books. Like, there's like kid versions of Batman and Superman, which actually even there are interesting stories in for me as an adult. And then there's your adult ones where there's just like blood and gore and just craziness. In between would just be your average Superman comic book. Your average, well, no, not even Batman's getting darker. Like, the Joker did some whacked out shit not too long ago in the Batman comic books, and it just made everybody just like, I'm just gonna put this comic book down, go to sleep, hopefully not have nightmares. So, I mean, with the way comic books are nowadays, it's hard to tell though what's right for you, because Superman, what it was back 20 years ago, is not the same Superman today. Same with Batman. Like, Batman back in the day was a lot more kid friendly, and then eventually that stories where they made their wives of people eat their husbands because a villain made them do it, and you're just like, that's not what I watched as a kid or what I read as a kid. So it's just, I think comic books are becoming darker because a lot more people are liking that aspect of comic books. Everybody wants their stuff darker now.
Would you? I don't know. I feel like that would like scare away kids, like from parents who don't want their kids to see that kind of stuff. Because yeah, things like you got like Iron Man getting darker, Captain America getting darker, Spider-Man, all these like, again, these big household names that are getting much darker, to the point where it's not. It might not be appropriate anymore for younger kids, whereas comic books originally were for younger kids.
Yeah, it's definitely getting harder for kids. I don't see many kids reading comic books anymore, which sucks. It's always the teenagers and the adults. That's the main thing. Like, no 6-year-old kid's going to the store to pick up his comic book anymore, unless it's like a super kiddie version of Batman where he's just like fighting crime and
slap a pow.
Yeah, but I think that's partly due to media or medium changing, because back when comic books like first started, there weren't like TV shows of these comics. So now kids just watch the TV show. They watch like Justice League Unlimited or whatever instead of buying the comics, because to them that's more entertaining than reading a book. Yeah. Whereas the older generations were not more used to, but we grew up more reading books and stuff like that because there was less TVs and movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, what got me into comic books though was like watching the original Batman on TV, and then to see it change from Superman just stopping this villain to Batman going through this traumatic event. It just keeps getting darker, and I think it's because it's getting more towards the teenagers and the adults. So it's what you grew up on is not where you're getting now anymore.
Yeah. How did
Which
you get
sucks.
into comics, Josh?
Me, I just love the art style. I mean, I was an art major for a while, um, with a hope of being like a character design, um, or concept designer for character creation. And it's just because I stories were amazing. They're all like the supernatural things that I wish could happen, but like, couldn't ever in real world. But for me, it was the art style. I love drawings more so. Like the more digital comic books and stuff, they're still great, but I love hand drawn. Like those just for me, comics themselves, I haven't been that big into. I was definitely more part of the manga scene.
Or
That's what. Yeah, my mic. I just realized my mic was cutting out. Um, but for me, I was definitely more involved with like the manga scene, just because that was what my group of friends read. They all did manga. I was one of the outliers that actually enjoyed comics too. For me, a big part of the reason I was in it was just due to the group of friends that I was with were into like comics and stuff like that. So that was how I was like introduced to it. But then it was just falling in love with the art style, and that's what carried me into where it is now. I wouldn't say I'm like a huge enthusiast at all. Far less than I was in high school, but I still love them.
yeah. Me, a lot of it was like because I grew up around it with my dad. Like when I was younger, he brought out all these like superheroes and everything like that and stuff that he had as a kid. And I started growing up with it and everything and having my own um, kind of cravings for that kind of stuff. But it got to the point where it's like I don't really read the comics anymore. It became more of like I'll understand more of the character by just like reading up on them. Like I'll read the comics every now and then. Like I haven't bought a comic in a while. Like, I was actually buying a bunch of comics a while back and then stopped doing it. It's because it's kind of costly. Like I think that's one thing that would be that'd be a very interesting change for comics to keep it very relevant, especially like paper comics. Is to like keep the medium but change the pricing so it's cheap.
Yeah,
Like back
but
to when they were $1 a
Oh
comic
yeah,
instead of 3.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
because then if you think about it, then it would attract a different audience where it's like, oh shit, like, hey, like
yeah, but
5 cents for
$1
this shit.
buys a lot less than $3.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I mean, you have to pay the artist for making it, and he wants to make more than like 10 cents per comic sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what at all, like contracting. So, but yeah, in the end, it's more expensive to live nowadays. Not necessarily expensive, but money inflation makes everything more expensive nowadays. So things need to be more expensive.
Yeah.
That is very true.
I think what I want to see is like how comic book characters who have been around long that aren't extremely recognized. I want to see how they would get publicized in light so that they're much more recognized by the public and they're like, shit, like this character is really cool, it's very interesting. Yeah, that's something that I'd want to see.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice whenever they focus on lesser known characters. Like they did it with Deadpool, they did it with Harley Quinn, they did it with
With Arrow.
Arrow too. Yeah. So we're in an age where we're not afraid to pick up these lesser known characters and then make them into something big. Like Legends of Tomorrow focus on DC characters who aren't that popular in the DC world, but it does so well as a TV show because they focus on the what makes those characters interesting.
Right.
I mean, there's so many superheroes that we couldn't make all of them
Yeah.
successful. But no, definitely nowadays people are more willing to make a risk, especially not especially big companies, but if you can get a backing or something to make a movie or a TV show from a bigger company, it's definitely easier, especially since they are becoming more popular, like your Avengers and stuff like that paved the way of people now making all the different series instead of just the movies that are introducing characters into like the Avengers series, or even how like Flash and Arrow and Supergirl, they're all eventually be going from their TV shows to making like the Justice League. And my mic's just doing weird things. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yeah. I can't, I'm definitely excited to see what we've got coming. Like Jake mentions, Doctor Strange and Black Panther. I'm just hoping that they don't run out of. They won't run out of material, but I think they'll run out of fresher ideas. Sooner or later, everything's gonna get done.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what I fear of
Buddy
everything.
disconnected
Everything's
from your
eventually going to
channel.
get done before. Like, where do we go once we've made the same song or the same comic book
Yeah, yeah.
a million times? Bye, Pika Panda.
I know that's it's kind of scary because it's like, what if, say,
Buddy joined your channel.
Am I back?
yeah, you're good.
Yes.
I don't know what happened. It blew up.
Like the Spider-Man, like Spider-Man's a good, well, like he gets reiterated like every time, like he gets changed so many times.
Yeah, but I don't like it at the same time. How many origin stories are we gonna get for Spidey? Like, you don't know that he got bit and became Spider-Man by now. Watched any of the other 3 movies where he got bitten?
Yeah. That's the problem with Spider-Man, and especially Batman. Batman's been done to death, too.
Yep.
His origin
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, because so you had Val Kilmer. No, who was before Val Kilmer? Would you count Adam West? Because that's a TV series.
I would count Adam West, but his Batman was a lot more
Comic-y.
Yeah.
yeah, just way too out there.
So you have your
Way
Adam
out
West, you have your Val Kilmer, you have your George Clooney,
George Clooney.
you have your
there.
Christian Bale. That's
Yeah.
That's 4 iterations.
And then you're getting Ben Affleck. So
Right, and then Ben Affleck's
Yep.
going up.
But with that, they're not necessarily doing, at least, word, origin for it, right? They're not.
I don't know, because he's appearing in Suicide Squad.
I think.
Yeah, but I think that's just more of a explaining why Joker is, or why not Joker, Harley Quinn's caught. I think it's just a flashback of her getting caught.
Yeah. I think what they're gonna do with Batman versus Superman, which should be good, is they're just gonna give a quick recap of how Batman became Batman. You know, his parents died. Spoilers for you guys.
Yep.
And that what drove him to become Batman and become a vigilante. So I think they're just gonna do a quick recap, and I hope they do that with like Spider-Man. And they even said that they're doing that with the Flash and Aquaman, so they're not gonna be origin stories, which kind of sucks because nobody knows the origin of the Flash that much or Aquaman. But
Yeah. I mean, Flash is a little different just because they do have a show now, so at least you can hint towards the show.
Is
But
that
because they have the show, they don't necessarily. You don't need to put it in the movie. I mean, you get like Hulk and Hawkeye in Avengers. They didn't get origin stories because first off, the last 3 Hulk movies, whoa, no, like it didn't matter who they cast as a Hulk. It was just horrible. But it was just one of those. Not everyone needs like their origin story as long as you can
Know who
hint
they
at
are.
backstory through the movie.
Yeah. Kind of curious about Hawkeye though. How he, like an arrow.
Yeah,
He saw Green Arrow and is like, I want to be that guy.
Wow, he seems really cool. I want to be just like him.
I still like the scene in Avengers 2 where it's just like, all this is happening. I have a bow and arrow. This doesn't make sense. Like, I'm just a dude with a freaking bow. Like, you could do force powers and I'm fighting cyborgs. What the hell?
That is true. So,
yeah.
I mean, that is interesting. I wonder why, like, what drove his character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to just use bow and arrow.
Yeah, I wonder where he, like, what kind of pushed it. Because if you think about it, Avengers, it was kind of, like, centered around him.
Avengers 2?
Yeah, Age of Ultron. Like, if you look at it from that direction, it's kind of like his movie.
Yeah, I think it was one of those people figured out, or not people, Marvel figured out, oh, people like him. Maybe we should do more with him. Like Loki.
Yeah.
People like Loki. Let's put him in, like, Thor's movie and then put him in this movie. Like, it's just one of those, due to popularity, we'll give him more screen time, get those fangirls to come watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, even like our conversation now, like we want to know what's up with Hawkeye, like what this. So I think origin stories have their plays, just not overdone so many times.
Yeah, that's the big one. It's just like do it once, maybe twice, but
not like 6 times, please.
Not every single time, and part of it is because they're just changing it. Like, they change. I mean, granted, in the comics, there's multiple different universes, so there's different characters here or there depending on what universe you read. We don't need the basics every single time. Just kind of do it as a flashback if it's a well-known character. We all know Superman came from Krypton. Don't need to show Krypton blowing up every single time we introduce Superman.
Yeah, so just a quick 10-minute recap. Somewhere in the movie, just like, oh, this high school kid bit by a spider, now he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, exactly. Don't dwell on it.
Yeah. But, to take it back to the original thing, if you want to get into comics, it's super easy. There's just a lot to get out there, too, so it's good to do a little bit of research into what you're into and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your manga, which is how I got into it. I got my start in manga comic books. I used to watch Dragon Ball Z, so I read Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach. Literally, I read so many manga at one point. I didn't even game. I did not game one time.
Yep.
So, it's just, you gotta figure out what you like, what you're into, and then you just need to go out there and buy it. It's super simple.
And something with, like, this whole, like, clique of like people, cliche. Is people love it when more people get into it. Like, when my girlfriend never, like, she would watch comic book movies and stuff, but she never read comics or she never did any of that. But I've gotten her to, like, watch anime. She's still hesitant to read manga, but, like, she at least offered to attempt it. But it's just one of those, it's awesome, and anytime somebody gets into it, I'm like, oh, well, let me know what you like. I'm bound to know something you'll like, a comic that you'll enjoy. Or you can just stop into, like, a comic book store and, like, I shop for a little bit, and, like, ask somebody, hey, I'm kind of interested in this, and people love it. This whole, like, genre, people love when more people get involved.
Yeah.
So it's really, like, friendly and easy to get into. Recommendations are just, you can post anything on Reddit and you're gonna get like 1.5 million
yeah,
people saying you should try this and this and this. Probably start a few, like, flame wars, but
that's how I want to get into, like, that's how I have a hard time getting into, like, animes, because there's, like, so many, and it's like, I don't know. For me, that I don't like about animes is just there's some that's just way too far-fetched, and I'm like, ugh.
Yep.
That's kind of weird. That's why, like, I don't read some. So.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, I like more serious stuff. Or, well, do you like dark, serious stuff? Like, maybe mystery? Watch Death Note. That it's not like supernatural powers. There's supernatural parts into it, but it's not like people flying in the like Sky shooting Kamehamehas at each other, and spending 20 chapters leveling up. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing like that. But it's just like comics. What you want is out there. It just takes a little bit of searching.
Yeah.
You have to do your research, especially when it comes to American comic books, because what sucks about that is that where they're at now, you can't really just pick up a comic book and go. You kind of have to find an origin story comic book, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You can't just like go right into the middle of Spider-Man and then understand everything that's happening in that universe, because like I said last time on Spider-Man, there was a point where he switched brains or minds with Dr. Octopus, where he wasn't Spider-Man wasn't Peter Parker anymore. He was Doc Ock in Peter Parker's body. Like, if you were to go right in the middle of that, you would have zero idea what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, nothing. So you have to do a little bit of research as in what you're into, or hopefully have a friend who knows comic books that can help you pick out what you're into.
True.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. It's just doing research on your own. It could be overwhelming, but if you got somebody who's interested in it or knows a little bit about it, just ask them. Like, hey, I'm thinking about reading comics, and like I said, there has to be something you'll enjoy reading.
Yeah, you're bound to find somebody who would happy to help you find something to read.
I think I'm that friend, just because I'm still collecting comic books, and I've been doing that ever since I was 7. Like, I collect American comic books, I collect manga, I just collect all sorts of different types, because that's what I'm into. I like everything. So, hey, if any of you nerds want comic book suggestions, hit me up, I got you.
Yeah. Alright, guys, well, that'll be the end of the show. For our little outros and plugs. Jake wants us to see it. Let's see what this is. Hang on. In before it's a troll video, and then I have to ban him. Shit. I guess it's some sort of Civil War thing here. Hold on.
The latest Civil War trailer.
Yeah, but it's like an alternate ending, so I guess there's like a spook.
Oh.
I don't know, man.
Question. Who do I bet on next for CSGO? Where do I lose my next skins?
Hey everyone.
Ooh, a really good underdog bet.
What do? We fight.
It's pretty funny.
Oh shit!
That'd be an interesting way for it.
Took it out.
Be an interesting way for that to happen.
That would be hilarious.
Like that'd be funny if that was the whole plug. Like Spider-Man just coming out of nowhere and just dead.
Yep.
But see, there's a hole to that. There's a plot hole. Spider senses would have figured that out.
Maybe Hawkeye's so quick.
Lies.
True, maybe he has an arrow that goes through his spider senses that doesn't pick up on it. It could happen.
Maybe. Alright, guys. Well, it looks like it's the end of the show. As always, we do plug the show. Shameless plugs at the end of the show. Josh, go right ahead. What's going on in your channel this week?
Well, I'm, as you guys know, Mr. Big Panda, Josh. I will be hopefully continuing more Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic this week. Good lord, you talk slower than women. I also will play other multiplayer games. No, oh my gosh, that would drive me insane. Later I do 2-part streams. Morning stream, I play something story-based that I can just play by myself and talk to myself out loud. And then later in the day, I go and I play games with these guys like H1s or Division or something like that. So, yep. You can find me twitch.tv/MrPeakPanda. I just already put it in chat. Follow me on Twitter. I barely tweet though, so still enjoy followers.
Awesome. All right, and for me, all right, guys. So for the rest of the week, tomorrow we have our ladder climb. We're gonna be doing League, CS:GO, Rainbow Six. Friday is mod day. You'll be finding me on Eve's channel. You guys all know where to go there. I'll post the link anyways before I go do my modding stuff on Friday. I might stream a little bit earlier if I have time. Since she doesn't go live till a little bit later in the night. And then Saturday, it's story time. We're gonna be playing The Witcher 3, or on episode 5, we're gonna continue what we were doing before. And God, I don't even know how far we're gonna get in that. It's gonna take so long.
That game's big. It's a big game.
Yeah. So, but we'll break it up. Next week we're gonna change up the story time and try a different game. I have my schedule for next week too, so I'll be setting that up. Come either I'm gonna say probably Saturday night, Friday night, Saturday night. I'm gonna post it onto my channel on my Twitch and on Twitter and everything. Sunday is probably gonna be Indie Sunday, so we're gonna choose one of the indie games we can play. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Neon, where are we gonna find you? Where are you gonna be?
I'm actually working on a montage of all our car explosions on H1 for the past week, so hopefully I can start a YouTube on that.
Sounds good.
But yeah, just follow me on Twitter, Neon Undead. I'll post the video on there. So.
But now you're Neon. Oh yeah, sorry, never mind.
I've always been Neon Undead.
Alright guys, and that's our show. Thank you guys so much for coming out to Games, Geeks, and Gravity. As always, I'm Josh, the Tiger Reaper.
And I'm Josh, Mr. Big Panda.
I'm Neon.
And we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you guys so much. Stay tuned next week on the Twitter and everything. I will let you guys know when we're going to be airing the show, who's going to be on it, and see you guys next week. Have a great day, guys. Deuces!
Ciao.